morning, everyone. Bon matin tout le monde. It's great to be here today in St. John. Every Canadian has relied on the Canadian healthcare system at one point or another. A broken bone, the birth of a child, a routine checkup, or the loss of a loved one. We've all made a trip to the doctor's office or a visit to the hospital, like the one behind me. We all have a personal story to tell. I'm here today to talk about how a new Conservative government will help make those stories a bit better. I want you, your elderly parents, your children, your loved ones, not to worry about wait times and not to worry about your bottom line. Today, medical imaging equipment across Canada is falling behind. We don't have enough equipment to meet the growing demand for potentially life-saving tests, and the wait times for important tests and treatments are too long as a result. For the amount of money Canadians pay in taxes, they deserve timely access to quality health services, and the very best in modern health technology and equipment. That's why, as Prime Minister, I will invest $1.5 billion in our first term to replace aging MRI machines and CT machines and increase the total number of machines in Canada's healthcare system. C'est pourquoi, comme Premier ministre, je vais investir $1,5 milliard pendant notre premier mandat pour remplacer les vieux appareils d'IRM et de CT et d'accroître le nombre d'appareils dans le système de santé canadien. Here in New Brunswick, the median wait time for a CT scan is 56 days, and for an MRI scan, 28 days. That is 56 days spent waiting to be tested, to say nothing of knowing the results. This investment will support the commitments made by the Higgs government to make public healthcare accessible and dependable, and to work with regional health authorities to prioritize expenditures to reduce wait times. It will help our healthcare providers across Canada to deliver quality services with the most up-to-date technology and give patients quicker access to reliable, life-saving tests so they can get the treatments they need when they need them. Hundreds of thousands of Canadians are forced to miss work while they wait for an important test, and that is unacceptable. Je vais aider nos fournisseurs de soins partout au Canada à offrir des services de qualité avec la technologie la plus à jour et donner aux patients un accès plus rapide à des examens fiables qui sauvent des vies, pour qu'ils passent moins de temps dans les salles d'attente et plus de temps avec leurs proches. Des centaines de milliers de Canadiens et de Canadiennes doivent s'absenter de leur travail afin d'attendre pour un examen important. C'est inacceptable. It's also our seniors who are most likely to use the healthcare system. It's our parents and grandparents who are most likely to need one of these tests. And with Canada's aging population, the demand for MRI and CT tests is only going to increase. I'm proud to be here today to deliver real relief to Canadians, real help for you, your kids, your parents, and more help for your health. And just before the election, I made a commitment to Canadians. I wrote a letter to every premier in the country and signed my name to a guarantee that a new Conservative government will maintain and increase both the Canada Health Transfer and the Canada Social Transfer, and that we will also maintain the current funding formula. Le nouveau gouvernement conservateur va maintenir et augmenter le transfert canadien en matière de santé et le transfert canadien en matière de programmes sociaux. Et nous allons aussi maintenir la formule de financement actuelle. This commitment means that provinces will be able to count on stable, predictable funding to pay for their programs and deliver quality health care. The reality is that Canada's population is both growing and aging, and this presents new challenges for the healthcare system. But Justin Trudeau simply doesn't understand how his reckless and wasteful spending makes meeting those challenges more difficult. He said he would balance the budget. Instead, his out-of-control spending and never-ending deficits have added so much to our national debt. We are on course to $1 trillion in debt by 2035. Trudeau's debt and deficits mean higher taxes and threaten access to the health and social programs you all depend on. The only way to guarantee a stable, responsive, and accessible healthcare system over the long term is to balance the budget. And the only party that will do that is the Conservative Party of Canada. And at the same time, we will make targeted investments like the $1.5 billion I have announced today so you can get the health care you deserve. You deserve a government that knows it's already hard enough to get ahead in life without the government making it harder. You deserve a government that understands that balancing the budget is the best way to preserve the services that Canadians rely on the most, including healthcare. And you deserve a new Conservative government that will live within its means put more money in your pockets so you can get ahead. Vous méritez un gouvernement qui comprend que l'équilibre budgétaire est le meilleur moyen de préserver les services dont les Canadiens et les Canadiennes ont le plus besoin, dont les soins de santé. Vous méritez un nouveau gouvernement conservateur qui va vivre selon ses moyens et mettre plus d'argent dans vos poches pour que vous puissiez améliorer votre quotidien. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Happy to take your questions.
Bonjour, M. Scheer, Louis Blouin de Radio-Canada. Vous étiez à Toronto cette semaine. Le chef libéral va être là aujourd'hui. Un des gros enjeux là-bas, c'est la lutte contre les crimes avec des armes à feu. Il y a des maires de grandes villes, des groupes qui demandent depuis des années à répétition que soient interdits les armes de poing, les armes d'assaut. Je veux savoir, vous, pourquoi, à vos yeux, ça ne fait pas partie de la solution?
Nous écoutons les experts des polices qui ont dit que la meilleure façon de lutter contre les crimes comme ça, c'est de lutter les criminels et les gangs de route. Et ça, c'est le pilier de mon plan pour un Canada plus sécuritaire. Et c'est mieux d'avoir les ressources qui ciblent les criminels et les armes à feu illégales. Et ça, c'est l'objectif de notre plan.
Le chef libéral vous accusait la semaine dernière d'être dans la poche du lobby pro-armes. Est-ce que des groupes d'intérêt ont un contrôle sur votre programme politique?
Ça, c'est une accusation ridicule faite par un premier ministre qui est dans le milieu de son propre scandale et qui maintenant est désespéré de faire des distractions. Nous sommes là pour les gens honnêtes, les propriétaires des armes à feu honnêtes, les producteurs, les chasseurs, et nous va cibler les vrais criminels et les armes à feu illégaux. So that's a ridiculous accusation made by a prime minister who's mired in his own scandal and desperate to change the channel. Our plan goes after the real criminals. We're going after the illegal firearms. We're standing up for honest Canadians, farmers and hunters, people who use firearms responsibly and legally. It's easy to ask law-abiding Canadians to follow more laws. It's harder to go after the criminals and the illegal firearms. Conservatives are ready to do the hard work that will actually improve safety in our communities.
Good morning, Mr. Scheer. Olivia Spanovich from CBC News. Are you or your team aware of any other controversial photos of the Prime Minister? And if so, why won't you release them?
I'm not aware of any further
And your
photos.
team?
I'm not aware that we are.
Okay. Why won't you commit to implementing the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples?
As I've said in the past, there are many laudable goals in that particular declaration. Many that Conservatives have been working on in the past and will commit to working on in the future. The issue is around ensuring that we have a process in this country where big projects can get built again. And the wording around free, prior, and informed consent is one that has not been defined. Even within the Indigenous communities, there's disagreement about what that means and how that would be implemented. And if we want to be a country where we can get big projects built again, we have to be very careful about the types of things, the wording on these types of things. And so we are committed to improving the quality of life for Indigenous Canadians, both on and off reserve, and at the same time bringing in a regulatory approvals process that could actually get to a yes in this country again. Oui. Il y a des objectifs dans cette déclaration très importants que les conservateurs appuient et qu'on va appuyer au futur, mais il y a des inquiétudes sur le principe des aspects comme il est lié aux nos ressources naturelles et grands projets. Alors, on va travailler sur les objectifs très importants, mais aussi créer une régie dans ce pays où les grands projets pourraient être construits.
Hi, Mr. Scheer. Janice Dixon with the Globe and Mail. Yesterday, Justin Trudeau apologized again for what he did in Winnipeg. The crowd seemed pretty receptive there. What did you think about what he had to say?
Well, I believe Canadians would have been able to accept his apology had he been more, might have been able to accept his apology had he been open and transparent the first time, if he hadn't lied when he was first given the opportunity to address it. And again, I think people are very concerned about the hypocrisy, the fact that there is one set of rules for Justin Trudeau and one set of rules for everyone else. And you know, the fact that he won't even hold himself to the same standard that he's held other people. Je crois que les Canadiens auraient pu accepter ses excuses, c'était sincère, ce n'est pas menti la première fois qu'il a eu l'opportunité. Et c'est clair qu'avec Justin Trudeau, il y a un système de règles pour lui et un système de règles pour le reste de nous.
And did you learn anything further from your team about when it obtained that video that it gave to the media?
No.
Good morning, Mr. Scheer. Katie Simpson, CBC News. Just to follow up on a point you just made there, so you accused Justin Trudeau of having one set of rules for everybody else and another set of rules for himself. But at the same time, you have said that with your candidates, if they say something in the past that would be deemed offensive in 2019, as long as they apologize, they're welcome to remain a part of your team. With that in mind, are you not sort of doing the exact same thing by not apologizing for your 2005 comments on same-sex marriage?
Well, I believe that if you look at Mr. Trudeau's apology, I believe Canadians would have accepted it if it had have been sincere. And the first time when he was given the opportunity to address these directly in an open and transparent manner, he didn't. And again, you know, he's not living up to his own standards. He had an opportunity to address this head on, and instead he lied when he was asked about how many times he did it.
But sir, I asked about you.
Yeah, well, again, you know, I've addressed that issue. The issue here is that when these photos and these incidents came to light, Justin Trudeau had an opportunity to address them head on, and in doing that, he lied about how many times it happened. So I think Canadians might have been able to accept his apology had he been honest and transparent the first time.
Hello, Mr. Scheer. Kevin Gallagher, CTV National. I still think we'd like to hear if you're willing to apologize for comparing same-sex marriage to a dog's tail in 2005.
Well, I have addressed that speech, and again, what we're talking about here, and what is the subject of these conversations in the last few days, is the way Justin Trudeau handled dealing with the incidents that came to light in his past. And I think Canadians might have been able to accept his apology had he been open and transparent the first time.
Do you think Canadians accept your views back in 2005 about same-sex marriage?
Obviously, we had a debate on that issue. Canadians had their say. Our country has moved on, our society has moved on, and I've moved on. C'est clair que notre pays a eu un débat sur cet enjeu. Les Canadiens ont fait le choix, la société a accepté, a passé de cet enjeu, et moi-même a fait la même chose.
Mr. Scheer, Michael Couture for Global National. I want to ask you about immigration. You've said that our immigration system's broken. How will you fix it specifically, since immigration is crucial for our economy?
What I've said in the past is that Canadians are losing confidence in our immigration system because Justin Trudeau has failed to do anything about the...
But how will you fix it, sir?
Well,
sorry, it's about you now.
Well, in your preamble, you framed it, so I'm addressing that. Canadians have lost confidence in the immigration system because Justin Trudeau has failed to deal with the tens of thousands of people who have crossed into Canada illegally. So what we're going to do, we'll have more to say during the campaign, is addressing that very issue, applying the principles of the safe third country agreement along the border, so that people who have already reached a safe place make the asylum claim in that country.
I just want to follow up. Oh, sorry.
Oui, je crois que les Canadiens ont perdu confiance dans notre système à cause de le fait que Justin Trudeau a échoué de régler le problème à Roxham Road. Et nous allons avoir plus de dire pendant cette campagne, mais ça va commencer avec l'application des principes dans l'entente entre les pays sûrs à nos frontières.
I just want to follow up with a question on Bill 21. If elected Prime Minister, you're going to have to stand up for all Canadians, but how will you not challenge Bill 21, which a lot of people are seeing as discriminatory?
Mm-hmm. Well, Bill 21 is being challenged. It is going through the courts, and the courts will decide on that.
En français?
Oui, mais les gens au Québec qui sont contre la loi 21 a fait un appel aux cours, et les cours vont trancher.
Good morning, Mia Rabson from the Canadian Press. I asked you the other day whether or not you believe there should be any restrictions on the sale of semi-automatic weapons in Canada, and you didn't really give a response. Can you explain today why you think, or whether you think Canadians should be able to buy semi-automatic weapons in Canada?
Mm-hmm. Well, Conservatives support robust regimes around the ownership, sale, and a screening process for individuals themselves. We support having gun laws in place that maximize safety, that ensure that public safety is addressed in these types of things. There are many restrictions and limitations as part of that Conservatives have always supported in the past. What we're talking about is is whether or not it is effective to have blanket bans on other types of firearms. And what we've heard is from police experts that it's more effective. It'll lead to safer communities if we use police resources to go after criminals and illegal firearms.
En français?
Oui, il y a beaucoup des règles. Il y a des règles dans notre régie pour les armes à feu ici au Canada que les grandes autorités ont toujours appuyé, d'assurer la sécurité publique. Mais nous écoutons les experts que c'est mieux d'utiliser les ressources policières à lutter contre les gangs de route et les armes à feu illégaux.
Canadian governments have been promising internationally for more than a decade to help phase out fossil fuel subsidies. You said this week you're cutting at least $1.5 billion in subsidies to corporations. Will you commit to living up to Canada's commitment to phase out fossil fuel subsidies, and over what time frame?
As long as there is international demand for oil and gas, I believe that Canada should be the one supplying it. The projections for consumption of oil and gas well into the future are only expected to rise, and I believe it's much better for the world, much better for our environment, for Canada to be supplying that energy. It's better for Canadian energy to fill Canadian markets and to be exported around the world than oil and gas producing countries without environmental standards like Saudi Arabia, like Venezuela, that don't have the same commitment to human rights. So I don't just believe the world needs more Canadian energy, I believe Canada needs more energy, and that's why I support the energy corridor, which will allow Western Canadian energy to reach Eastern markets.
En français?
Oui, les projections pour la consommation de pétrole aident que la consommation va augmenter dans le futur, et je crois que c'est mieux que le Canada peut partager nos ressources naturelles avec le monde, au lieu de les autres pays comme l'Arabie Saoudite, comme le Venezuela. Nous avons les standards environnementaux très élevés, et ça c'est mieux pour l'environnement si le Canada est le pays qui peut partager ses ressources naturelles.
Good morning, Mr. Scheer. Silas Brown, Global New Brunswick. In this region of the province, you have 3 former MPs who are running against the people that they lost to in the last election. What's your pitch to New Brunswickers in this area who may have voted Liberal last time and you want to reconsider?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hear that every time I come to New Brunswick. In fact, every time I travel all across the country, I hear so many people who say that they voted Liberal in 2015 and they're so disappointed because Justin Trudeau has turned out to be not as advertised. They did not get what they expected from this government. And so we've got a great blend of candidates in this region, people who have held the confidence of voters before, have provided excellent service to their constituents, and as well as new candidates who are running for the first time for us. So that's going to be a great mix of some veterans with experience and new MPs that can help bring about new ideas as well. So I'm very proud of the slate of candidates we have in New Brunswick and all across Atlantic Canada.
What can you offer to New Brunswickers specifically that you don't believe Trudeau can?
Well, when we look at Justin Trudeau's failures on things like NAFTA, failing to address the failing to get any resolution in negotiations with the United States to do anything long-term on softwood lumber. We know the carbon tax is having a disproportionate effect on New Brunswickers, both on the individual side and on important industries like forestry. We know that the regulatory process that they have implemented in Killing Energy East has had an impact here. There is a lost opportunity. So clearly the Conservative Party is on the right side of New Brunswickers on several important issues. Thanks very much. Merci beaucoup.